But so both sides do this, and this is
Mhm.
called the my side bias. Of all
Yes.
the motivated reasoning and cognitive biases that we talk about, probably the my side bias is the worst one now for distorting how we see the world, and that's happened in the atheist. It happens on the right. I mean, I feel bad for a lot of my Republican friends who feel like they don't know what to do. I mean, this is their team; they're supposed to support the team, and half their team is crazy. They're Trumpers, and most of my Republican conservative friends are a little older, and they don't like Trump, and they don't know what to do because they can't join the Democrats. Oh my God, then the other half of the team would hate them, and if they go against the other half of their team, that they hate them. So they're quite divided. It's a problem.
A
Uh,
big problem.
yeah, and I don't know the way around it other than just tell everybody tranquilo, calm down. Let's just talk to each other. It's okay.
That's what we're doing. We realize that, we're never going to get the anti-woke atheist liberals to fully agree with anti-woke atheist conservatives and vice versa. Very similarly to what we did, at least when New Atheism was healthy, we agreed to disagree on the issues that weren't related to the mission of what we're fighting for. And we were able to, thankfully now with AFL growing, we're able to bring forward all these different people: liberals, libertarians, conservatives, centrists, independents. Obviously we're going to have differences. That's a part of being human, and I think those differences are sadly only going to increase, as we enter this age of politics and go forward into the century. But it is what it is, and we're going to keep moving forward together on that. So I
There
want
are
to.
there are there are there are steps people are taking. There's cognitive psychologists who study debiasing programs, how you can change people's minds about things on controversial issues. And one of the themes is that if you try to kick out the stand from somebody of their how they define themselves, that where they feel they're going to topple over, they're not likely to change their mind. So my favorite example of this is if you're talking to a Christian conservative who's a fundamentalist, let's say, and you give them a choice between Darwin and Jesus, they're not picking Darwin. I mean, Jesus is how they define themselves. This is what they believe. This is the core of their life. You got to take that off the table and just say, look, evolution happened. It's a fact of science, just like the Big Bang Theory or gravity or anything else that you accept. And look, here's a book by Francis Collins, The Language of God. He's the head of the Human Genome Project. He's now the head of the Institute of Health. He's a major world-class scientist, and he's an evangelical. He's on your team. And he says evolution happened, and here's how we know it happened. And his book is actually quite good at explaining evolution through genetics. It's as good as what Dawkins writes in terms of the clarity of explaining the theory. But the last chapter he goes off on is God beliefs in stone. Okay, fine. But to me, you have to go around that, do an end run around the thing and say, you can keep your beliefs in Jesus and Christianity and all that, because I know you're not going to give those up. But this is the truth, right? So we can do this with a lot of things, like climate change. To conservatives, their brain autocorrects to, oh, climate science. I know what that is. That's socialism. Well,
Right.
no, it's not socialism, but back in the day, it got bundled with Al Gore's. It got bundled with the liberal side and Democrats because Al Gore's film, and he was the vice president under Clinton. So, this shows you again how tribal people are about this. And so when you hear people talking about climate science or vaccines or whatever, they're not actually talking about that. They're talking about something else.
Right.
Those specific issues are proxies for something else that they hold dear. And we also know, one last point, cognitive psychologists who study this have discovered that people that endorse climate science or who people are skeptical of it, neither one of them knows any more about it. In other words, it's not the facts of science that converts people. Neither one of them knows much about it. So what they're doing when they say, I believe it or I don't believe it, is they're publicly signaling about their tribal commitments. I'm a good liberal. I therefore trust science. I therefore accept the climate science. Or I'm a good conservative. I don't trust liberals. And those climate scientists are mostly liberals. Therefore, I'm going to be against it.